Welcome back. My name is David, and in this video, you're gonna get a first-hand look on the CLI. So how the CLI should work is you navigate on your terminal to a specific folder that has files you want to read, work on, etc., and you just kick off the CLI. At the moment, I kick it up using the word Hedaro, but you could change that really easily. All right, and in the beginning, it works kind of just like a um, um, regular chatting that we do in ChatGPT or in Google. You give it a question, it will send it to the LLM, and then the LLM will return the answer. But the cool thing about this is that I've made it so that it has access to tools, and these tools are tools that allow it to um, access the file system. Now, in a later section in the tutorial, I'll tell you how that works specifically, but just know at a high level, LLMs cannot interact with your file system, but with tools, it will, if you give it access to tools, then now they have access to whatever you want, including your file system. So, what tools did I give this specific CLI? Well, let's just ask the AI. What tools do you have available? So it's just like an LLM. It knows about the tools it has, so it's just gonna tell you. So I gave it the ability to read files, update files, write files, and read the folder. Just tell me what kind of files and directories are in here. And normally, some of these things are kind of pointless, but if you give it a task that requires it to know what folders are there, it has to read files, it has to update, then these tools become important. So the folder I'm currently navigated into just has a couple of files, style and test, very basic. So let's see if we can read those files. What are the files in this folder? So what it's doing now is it's creating an event, and the event says, hey, I need to make use of this folder read tool, and then it will then actually run the tool, and this tool is actually a Python file. It's actually a class, and it will run the code. The code will return that these two files exist in this folder, and then it'll send them back to the LLM, and then the LLM will um, summarize and kind of tell you what it found. And it says, hey, there's these two files in this folder. Now let's see if the other tools kind of work. Can you tell me, can you summarize? Summarize. Let's give it a hard one. It might do it, it might not. We'll see. Can you summarize both files and also tell me how many words are in each file? So I'm giving it a little bit more complex query. It might get it, it might not. I'm not working with the best LLM model out there, but I'm basically saying, hey, are you able to go out here, read the files, and then after you read the files, can you summarize them, and then can you do a word count? So it came up with 6 different, as you could tell, events to try to do this. It read the style file, so that's good. It was able to read the test file, so it should have the contents in memory of these two files. And then it tried to see. This is the part that I guess I'm still working with. The LLM decided to attempt to use a tool that doesn't exist. Um, so it looked for a tool called Summarizer, and I don't have a tool called Summarizer. This could be due to maybe my prompting is not good, or maybe the LLM is not powerful enough. It also attempted to find a tool named Word Counter, and it did it twice. It tried it a couple of times, and it failed because they don't exist. And then after it did all that, it tried again to count. So let's see what it says. I apologize, summarize. I already have the contents. Oh look. So it said it couldn't do it. And it says, however, I already have read the contents of both files, which we definitely saw here in these first two tasks. And then it said, style contains detailed artistic analysis. Okay, so it summarized it. And test simply contains the text hello world. So what it didn't do in my original request was, can you tell me how many words on each file? So let's see here. Can you count the number of words in each file? There you go. It says the style has 431 words. We're not going to verify that, but we're going to assume it's correct. And then the file test.txt contains two words. That makes sense because apparently test has the word hello world. And we could just go over here and open up test, and there's hello world. So that's kind of the demo that I wanted to. Okay, there's actually one more thing. So let's say, so let's use another one of these tools. Let's use file write. So let's say um, create a new file named let's say mom.txt and update the contents of the file to say I love you. Here, let's make I capitalize and I love you. How about that? So I'm asking it if it could create files and add contents to the file, and it's gonna make use of the word of the file write and then the file update. So then this will kind of make use of all these tools that I've showed you so far. So there's a little nice spinner, and then it says step 1, create a new file named mom. So I created the file. So here it is, mom, and let's see if it has the word I love you in it. Bam, I love you. So it did it. And now again, I'm using a very let me see if I can show you. I'm using a very it's not here. All right, give me a second. Yeah, I'm using a very I'm using the Gemma model here so you guys could see it. Give me a second. Right here, I am just using the Gemma 3 27 billion model, and it's a pretty good model. It's so far it has done a lot of the tasks that I've given it. And it's if you use Gemini Twin 2.0 Flash or Gemini um 2 2.5 Pro, some of the big ones, it's gonna act better. Now, can I use it here? You can, but we only have a limited number of requests you can do per day, I think, and per month. And I don't think there is limits for Gemma, but it's much bigger. So I like to develop with this model or with any of the Gemma models, just so that I don't eat up the free costs, the free thing. So, anyways, that's kind of it. The tool is not perfect, as you can see. Sometimes it hallucinates, you could say, and it will start calling out for tools and possibly LLMs that don't exist. Um, and yeah, so the last thing I wanted to mention, just like a FYI, as you can see here on the screen, there is one LLM I have here, but you could add multiple LLMs, and the master LLM, which is the main orchestrator, this guy will also realize there's additional LLMs available, and depending on how you set those LLMs up and their purpose, uh, this the main orchestrator LLM will send work to those LLMs. So so for example, let's say we had a second LLM that I don't know, that generated emails. If you ask the LLM, can you write me an email um, based on something you've been chatting with it, it will make it an additional call to the Google API to this specific email generator um, LLM, and it will ask it to generate an email, and it will provide it all the information it thinks it needs to make that um, task possible, and then that LLM will send it back to the original orchestrator LLM, and it goes from there. So it's actually very powerful. That's why it's multi-agent, because you could have multiple. I will show an example later on how that works. So far, I haven't found the best, I guess, workflow or interaction or with multiple LLMs, but I haven't played with it that much. So, anyways, this is the quick demo of it. Hopefully, this gets your brains moving to see what kind of tools you want to give your LLMs access to, and what kind of things you want to do with this